Yo, 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 what's going on, party people? This is Lish We here. We're back at it. We got another one. It's Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself, though. So here we are. This is Lish We. Now, if this is your first time here, it's a pleasure having you in. You know what I'm saying? Buckle up. We're just going to talk about some shit. And pretty much essentially what I do talk about is spirituality. And spirituality, I like to give a little bit of background of it because a lot of people, tend to disembody it or dissociate it from their life. Do you see what I'm saying? And for me, technically, I'm letting you know that you are all of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, meaning you are a spirit. Once you understand that, you'll get to understand not just the meaning of your life, but also um, you get to really have that human experience. Do you see what I'm saying? So, in other words, all I'm saying is when I talk about spirituality, pretty much I'm talking about you, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about life. Everything you do in this life is pretty much shaped by, you know, um, what you don't see. For instance, you know better than you'll do better. That's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? So, again, this is just to show you how your life depends on what you don't see. And that's also, your emotions and all of that stuff. So, and all the masters, the spiritual teachers, pretty much what they telling you is, or what they've been teaching you is, and how to master yourself. How to master yourself. In other words, that's just another way of saying how to navigate through this life. So that's regular shit. All of us are here. We got to know, what the fuck we're doing, how we, using this, and that's where the teacher comes in. But most importantly, just to show you, spirituality is you. Like it's, it is what it is. But anyway, I talk about the ego, I talk about the false self, I talk about the true self. And the whole purpose of me talking about these things is for you to align yourself with your true self. But, hopefully by hoping that you would understand or get to see that the life that you're living, it's not, you became that other person. And how it got created as, at a very young age. We all learn how to be good, how to act a certain way. That would be conditioning, your way of thinking, the way of seeing things. Again, it goes back to show you as well that you are a spiritual being too, how your life is being affected. Not just that you're creating a new person, but because of a lack of an understanding or better understanding, or better yet, we could just say, because of where you at intellectually, that's what you go for. Do you see what I'm saying? And all of us were just being shaped by life, by our conditions. How do you break free out of that? That's what the masters are telling you. You got to break free. That's when you're no longer being stuck in the cycle of birth and rebirth. You become the master. In other words, you transcend. And that's also one of the key laws that I talk about in Hermetic principles that talk about the law of polarity. Then at this point, it's like the physical and the non-physical have, I mean, that argument has no, doesn't hold water because now you have transcended, you've seen things for what they are. And that's how knowing the truth actually sets you free. It's setting you free from this illusion. And that's what the illusion is. That person that was created. In other words, that's what they're talking about when they talk about the matrix. So In other words, we're talking about the way that we've been shaped. That was not how ourselves. Uh-huh. And then you became trapped in it. A lot of people are being trapped by their demon instead of being the master of their shadow. When you're not conscious, technically, you are possessed. Because now you're being possessed by your darker side. You can't really control your anger. You know what I'm saying? That's why motherfuckers be acting all crazy. You know what I'm saying? They'll just lash in the middle of, or if they got triggered or anything like that. That's that shadow self. Oh, this shit is real. Again, this is you. That's why you're a spirit. So in so many words, this world that you're living in, you're like you are being part of so many different planes. And when you're in touch with that, that's when a nigga like me can call myself being cosmic because I intertwine in those different planes. Mm. Gotta let that marinate, man. But again, it brings back the conversation about you. You are spiritual, eternal, because death is simply the separation between, you have the interaction between the soul, the spirit, and the form or the physical. And then death is when that separation happened. And there have many different names for it. They call it a transition. Um, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever the fuck else they actually use to describe, um, I guess the separate or death. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not, and that's why in so many words, like we are eternals because our true self. We're having this human experience, like we're experiencing the form. We're eating. We're doing these things. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, the the ones the ones who are not bright, they are being taken over by their shadow self. What you have here pretty much when we talk about living corpse, or when you look at the deads, the living deads, that's exactly what that is. So when you see the movie like the zombies and all that shit, and a few people trying to escape, meaning that they're trying to wake up. You see what I'm saying? But the zombies, take over the whole fucking town. And in so many words too, that's the path of the chosen one. That's why so many people are gonna be against you. Society is against you. So now you are not part of the world, of that world. You are in it though, but not of it. Again, it's all referring to the same shit. You. So the mystery of truly you knowing you is to know that you are spirit. And that's the first law. Well, not the first law. Well, I mean, it's essentially that's what the law is talking about. The law of mentalism. So pretty much I've been giving out, talking about the different laws, the different hermetic principle laws. And I think I talk about the law of mentalism. So I just pretty much gave you a whole fucking background of what this is about. And the mystery of it is to know that you are spirit. Hmm. Then you have the law of correspondence. Just to briefly recap, like, that law pretty much states as it is within, so it is without. But you got to keep in mind the first law, which is your spirit, energy, mental, however the fuck you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? The other laws are pretty much describing different aspect of the same thing. And I'm gonna be able to break it down for you now. Like in the Kabbalion, I'll give you a perfect example. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. There are so many different aspects of this action, that when you talk about the law of mentalism, which is the first law, as the student started, start to, ask certain questions, the master will appear. The master can also represent the answers. So pretty much this law is talking about, everything is it's all mental in that one aspect. Because now you're thinking about you want to think on a higher plane by asking the question, or and then the fucking teacher will appear. Now the second law that talks about the law of correspondence, technically this is telling you, as it is within, so it is without. So in so many words, as the student started asking questions or started growing, he's also the master as well, because now he had, you know what I'm saying, like, the reflection of the master is also the student, and the student is also the master. As it is above, so it is below. And now the third one actually talked about the law of vibration. So if we're using that same example, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So we're talking about as the student raises vibration, his frequency, his energy, that's why some people will tell you, hey, I mean, not some people, but there's a saying that goes, you tell me about your friends, and I'll tell you about you. Oh, you let me know who your friends are, and I'll tell you about you. However the fuck they say it. All of that, is just, came from the law of the Hermetic principle, which is the law of life. And technically, if you understand these things, that's your survival kit. That's your inner vision. Because if you're looking with these eyes, you fucked. You got to move out here like a blind man reading the scripture. Love it. Mm, just crazy. Love it. So then I believe the fourth one was what the fuck? The law of polarity. Polarity now talks about duality. But essentially, what they're really telling you about duality is that there's no such thing as duality. Polarity, that's when the opposite meets. So, in other words, I think the perfect example that they used was cold and hot. It's the same fucking air, but the only difference is they vary in degrees. So when you talk about hot water, cold water, it's still water at different temperatures. In so many words, you can also say, something that is good can also be bad. Like they say, where there's a great strength, there's a great weakness. Just like a man have a dream, and now the dream becomes the master of the man. Meaning, you know what I'm saying, like talking about you on so many different aspects. As a spirit who's down here, do you see what I'm saying? Now that needs to wake up because the frequency down here is not as it was once we were, well, once we didn't have a form, because we're still spirit. And that's what we have to realize down here for us to survive, to transcend. And then, where am I? Four, five? What's the fifth one? The law of, I talk about polarity. That's it. This above, so below. What the fuck? I don't even remember. I was just in my zone. Um, what's the fifth law? So we talked about vibration. We talked about um. I talked about that shit the other day too, man. I don't even fucking remember. So no, it's right here. Okay. So we talked about vibration, mentalism, correspondence, polarity, vibration. Gender is going to be the seventh one. I know the sixth one is cause and effect, and that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I guess it'll come to me. Anyway, so I got fucking six, and then that just one. The minute you just got to release it. The minute you let go, it'll come to you. That's why you got to let go, man, for everything to come to you. You see what I'm saying? Like they say, you chase a woman until she catches you. You feel me? Let that sink in. So the law of cause and effect. So technically, it's telling you everything that happens, there's a cause. But if you truly understand those laws too, like they're helping you, they're making you accountable. Because for you to know that you're spirit, you got to take accountability. In so many words, you got to be aware of who you are, your actions. And that's why taking accountability open up a lot of doors for people. It's your first, like if you're looking to grow, you got to start taking accountability. You cannot blame nobody for nothing. And the reality is, you are the spirit. You are creating your reality. Believe it or not. And that's what this is all telling you about: how to master yourself, to awaken. Another way of saying it would be how for you to be in touch with your true self. It's all the same shit, different levels, different planes. You know what I'm saying? I guess we're flying out here. So if you truly understand that too, like there's no such thing as chance, because everything synchronized. That's what cause and effect is. Do you see what I'm saying? You ate too much, cause, and then the effect. You already know. Now, if you want to get deeper into that cause, and I think there's a part of the rule that talks there's many causations too, but none of them escape the law. So let's just say because you eat too much, and the effect of that will be you getting fat, right? Now, there's another higher plane too. Why would you eat too much? That's also an effect of you thinking poorly or knowing poorly. So it's a continual like cause and effect. So by you understanding that and you taking accountability, you get to the bottom of the nitty gritty. It's pretty much what the fuck that is. How do you use that shit in your life? Well, I mean, you understand where you are. You take accountability for this bullshit. Okay, I'm a hoe. Okay, I'm a hoe. You know that shit. That's the first accountability that you definitely gotta take. Then after that, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stop acting a certain way. Okay, and then after that, you start asking yourself, okay, how did I become a whore? You know what I'm saying? Was it my mom? Was it my dad? Do you see what I'm saying? And then you go like, oh, okay. Well, what happened? And that's how you do your shadow work. Do you see what I'm saying? So those are the different planes that you got to do by doing your shadow work, by healing the wounded child inside of you that causes, all of those effects. You know what I'm saying? So now you go by understanding that, now you get into the root of the problem to liberate your monkey ass. How do you want it? It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's why you can't disembody spirituality from this life. I mean, you can, depending on what plane that you are in. I mean, you're actually on. But when you're truly in touch with yourself, it doesn't matter. That's when you truly know, man, listen, I'm just a traveler down here. And if you are, and you know you're a traveler, does it matter, fuck Earth or not? Doesn't matter. Shit, my heart is light as a feather, as a motherfucking feather, motherfuckers. But anyway, I'm gonna just leave it there. It's definitely a pleasure having you guys in. It's always time. When you know it's time. We always like to break bread. Pretty much. What I'm saying, projecting. Sharing, elevating. Just making it happen. With that being said, Aisha, you already know. Bow. Ali.